I came home early and was stunned when I saw what AP is doing with my own wife, who dressed up in student uniform. I am 36, just caught my wife F31 cheating on me. It came right out of the blue. A little background. We had been married for 4 years and together for 10. I was her first serious BF and the person she lost her V card to. She was my second serious relationship. I had a previous girlfriend for a couple of years, but we amicably broke up a couple of years before I met my wife. We have always been perfectly happy together. If when we had issues, sexually, in the relationship, household chores or whatever, we would talk it out and resolve it. As far as I knew, everything was fine. We communicated all the time and about everything. Or so I thought. I came home from work today, roughly the same time, maybe a little earlier, but only by around October 15th minutes or so, and didn't see my wife initially. My wife works from home, which was strange as her car was in the drive, but thought maybe she had popped into the local shop. I walked into the bedroom and saw a mutual friend of ours having sex with my wife. If you don't want the details of it, I apologize, but I consider it important and will explain why. My wife was dressed up in a school uniform and her hair was in pigtails, and our mutual friend was doing it on her face. I just walked out and left. I know they both saw me as they both looked shocked. I am currently sitting in the local bar. She WhatsApped me and tried to ring me, but I want to know how to react. What they were doing is important, as her dressing up in a school uniform is my sexual kink. I told her this a few years ago, and she said it wasn't for her. I respected this and dropped it. Same with on her face. I asked her about these, and she said they weren't for her, which I respected. So why is it okay to do it with this other guy? And that's before we go into the actual fact of her cheating on me. She is the love of my life. I moved to a different country to be with her. What should I do? The fact that it was with one of my few friends, who is also married BTW, makes it even worse. God knows how many times this has happened before. Thankfully, we don't have kids to worry about. What do I do now? We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. The fact that they were exploring kinks in your own house, I believe, indicates that this has been going on for a long time. You start the divorce process. Talk to a lawyer, figure out a living situation, separate finances, and get yourself an STD test. I'm not sure that anything your wife says in the coming weeks will be true. Expect minimization, gaslighting, blame shifting, and outright lies. You should probably limit contact to the greatest extent you can. Comment 2. First things first, tell the other spouse. Then run for the hills. You don't have kids, that's huge. If you can help it, try to never speak to her again. No closure, no chance to try to explain, just total silence. Also, tell her family if you are close with them. Wife who cheated on me is raging because I made her regret it by exposing affair to her own son and filing for divorce. Did I do a wrong thing? At the end of April 2021, I found out my wife of almost 11 years had been having an affair with a man that she works with. She told me she didn't know why she had done it, as she wasn't attracted to him and didn't have feelings for him at all. She just did it for attention. I forgave her almost immediately, as I truly felt she was the love of my life and my soulmate. 2 weeks after I found out about the affair, she admitted to me that she had been falling out of love with me for a few months, but didn't know why and didn't think there was anything that could be done to bring her feelings for me back, so she asked for a divorce. Over the next few months, I lost 30 pounds due to anxiety and depression and lack of sleep. My wife started dating the man she cheated on me with and promptly informed our 4 young kids about her relationship. I asked her not to talk about her boyfriend in front of our kids yet, since I didn't feel it was appropriate this early into our divorce process, and it was clear that my 10 and 11-year-old children were uncomfortable with the situation. My wife even tried to force our kids to FaceTime with her new boyfriend a month ago, and it made my oldest son so uncomfortable that he hid under his bed sheets. I asked her to not expose the kids to him anymore for at least 4 to 6 months, and that she can enjoy her time with him, but to leave the kids out of it. This week was our youngest son's 6th birthday, and I had reluctantly asked if she wanted to get together as a family to celebrate, as it was my custodial night with the kids, and I wanted to be nice. We had agreed to meet up and to keep things civil. The night before the party, my wife FaceTimed my kids while she was at her new boyfriend's house, which made me sick to my stomach and made my kids visibly uncomfortable. So after the call, I texted her and told her I didn't think it was a good idea to get together for the party anymore because of how anxious I knew I would be around her, and I didn't want to say or do anything in front of our kids that I might regret. She was very upset about this because she wanted to be able to see our son on his birthday, to which I responded by telling her divorce sucks, and if you wanted to see and speak to our kids every day, that she shouldn't have cheated and asked to end the marriage. I also informed her that I do not want her calling our kids on their days with me anymore, as it's my court-appointed time, and since my son's birthday fell on my night, this meant that I didn't want her to call him. I said if our son asked to call her I would let him, but he never did. She tried to get her attorney involved, but he told her there's really nothing legally wrong with my request and not much he could do. Needless to say, she didn't get to talk to him or see him on his birthday because of her actions. Am I the a-hole in this situation? We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. You didn't have to offer her any time with your son on his birthday if it's a day he was in your custody. You did so to be generous. You have asked her previously to be discreet about her new relationship around the kids you share, and she has flouted that over and over. I'm pleased her attorney saw a sense that there wasn't anything wrong with what you said/did. You actually seem to be putting your kids' feelings first, whilst she seems keen to move on and pretend everything is okay. Keep doing as you are. OP reply. Thank you. I definitely still feel like an a-hole, because I know I would be crushed if I was in her shoes and unable to talk to my kids on their birthday, but at this point I think she needed a little bit of a wake-up call so she knows how serious I am about protecting them from further exposure to her new relationship this quickly. Comment 2. Her for her behavior, and you for using your children as pawns to punish her for her behavior. I know it's hard, but helping your children adapt the best they can to the new reality of their life should be your top priority. Get yourself and the kids to a therapist, and next time let her talk to the kids on the phone should you have them on their birthday. I am surprised at what you claim is her lawyer's response, because he should be advocating for his client, and yes, reasonable phone calls during the other parent's time is something that judges can order. OP reply. Well, right now we are just in the temporary orders phase of the divorce, and our attorneys didn't include birthdays or holidays, but in them, so there's not much that can be done until final agreements are made. At that time I will request that we each be allowed to call our kids on those days. This is going to be a one-time thing for me, as I feel like I made a bad choice. I shouldn't put my kids in the middle of our bullcrap, and although I'm hurting, they don't need to be punished for it too. These waters are tough to navigate through. Sometimes doing the wrong thing feels right until you take a step back and realize the impact of your decisions. Heating girlfriend became a call girl and traded me for a guy in sport car, but karma slapped her hard and her heart dropped when she heard slaps from video AP sent me. Hi Reddit, I'm not sure where to start with this, so I guess I'll start back when I first started dating. So back when I was a wide-eyed boy going into high school, I met this girl on, dare I say it, Xbox, who lived out in Canada. I quickly fell in love and she felt the same way, so we committed that long-distance relationship and actually got to meet for the first time at Disneyland when her dad had her in California for a month. Her parents were split. There's not much to say about this one but the fact it was young and not real per se, but I still think about it because it's where the whole thing started. While in this long-distance relationship I met another girl at my school, whom I regretfully asked out, bear with me, and cheated myself in a sense. I do very much regret it, even if it was young dumb stuff. We just held hands and broke up that day, in typical freshman fashion. The only real reason I think about it is because maybe it's karma. Continuing on with the girl in Canada, she ended up letting me know she had sex for the first time with a gentleman she met at her school. Broken-hearted and confused as to why, I asked her, and bugged her, and the only response I remember was, because when I met you, you were fatter and uglier than I thought. It hurt a lot, but I got over it in a few months, but it still was something I thought about for a long time. After her, I met who I thought was the most beautiful girl in my class when we were working on a project together. She was gorgeous and absolutely the kindest person to me when we first met. This was my junior year of college. This relationship lasted quite a while too, and it's one of my most remembered ones. We had a lot of really great times together, and she's the girl I lost my good OLV card to. About a year and a half into this relationship, I vowed I'd be with her without fail. She started acting a little odd. I'd never been accused of cheating through that whole relationship until those last few months. But she was so insistent I could never really understand why. I had my love story and I was beyond happy with her, but she wasn't with just me. One night, I get a call. I don't know if I love you anymore. What the hell just happened? Am I in a dream here? I heard some guy laugh in the background and the phone hung up. Frantically, I tried calling. No answer. Again. No answer. Message. No reply. At this point, I think I could have filled a pint-sized mug with tears. I didn't know what to do. I checked Facebook, and she's gone. Pictures gone. Relationship gone. Just gone? So I rode my bike over to her house to see if she was home. Her mom, single parent, waved me off, saying she wasn't there. She ended up coming outside and the guys right behind her looked at me, almost laughing. She took his hand, walked by me, said bye and hopped in his red Camaro and left. My heart hurt, my heart was hurting. I'd never felt like that. I didn't understand what I did. Her mom looked at me, and I wasn't exactly crying, but I could see the pools in my eyes. She told me to please leave or I'll call the cops. And shut the door. There you go, there's the tears. I crashed my bike on the way back home and scraped the hell out of my knee, but I didn't feel it. All I felt was this concaving in my chest. I stayed home every day from that point for about 5 or 6 months, no friends, cold to family, depressed, and a shallow version of myself. My grades fell, and I was even more of an outcast at school than I had been prior. I'm telling you, she brought my light then. I didn't have many friends, and not many people liked me because I was quiet and off-putting. I thought she was it. A few months pass and I've just about gotten over the whole situation. She still crossed my mind constantly though. And one day, sometime in December, she messages me again on Facebook. She said she still loved me. I took her back. I was just reaching 19 and began working and driving. So, we built it again. I forgave her and apologized to her if I did anything to make her leave, and that was that. She ended up letting me know the first time we dated she had slept with 3 other guys than the one I saw her with. I was hurt hearing this, but again, I forgave her because she admitted what she did. In the middle of July of 2015, about my mid-20s, we're still together. She's actually living with me and my parents because her mom slapped her out. Let me stop and talk about how terrible of a person her mom is now that I see it. She let us have sex knowingly in their house, made me pay the cable bill so I could see her daughter, and hid multiple instances of her daughter being unfaithful with a smile on her face and such a genuine disdain for someone's emotions. That being said, back to the story. No problems though, and everything is as it should be. So I thought at least. I remember this day to a T and it haunts me still. I got a message from a close friend of mine with a media download. Oh, cool, I thought. I opened the message from her and I played it. It's my girlfriend, giving some guy a mouth with the guy recording it before he turned her around and started going at it. I paused it and looked up at her. She's looking at me because she heard the sound and asked me, "Are you seriously watching?" I was numb. I couldn't say anything, and then her eyes opened wider when she realized what I had just watched. She immediately bounced up from my bed and ran to the kitchen. I was still sitting there in my chair, looking at this still frame of some of her butt and his waist against it. She comes running back in with a trash bag and starts throwing her clothes and valuables inside of it. I still haven't said anything, and I fall back to my chair, still looking at the phone. I will play it again. I was curious because the sheets. They looked familiar. The camera tilted and I saw one of my posters. Moaning and clapping from my phone inside, and I was just watching her frantically grabbing her stuff. Shut that ducking crap off, you dumb mother ducker. I just watched her. At that point, I didn't know what to do. My mom walked in and asked what's going on. He cheated on me, Mom's name, and he's sitting there watching a stupid ducking video my friend made. Her bag was full, almost full of stuff, and only about a minute or two passed. My mom was looking at me, and she asked me what was wrong because I was silent, mouth slightly open, and streams of tears over my face. Don't listen to him, Mom's name, he's gonna lie like he always does. My girlfriend said it so angrily my mom told me to just let her pack and leave, to come and sit in the living room. She comes darting past with a bag full to almost bursting and runs out the door. What'd I do? Why? The relationship was so good, we were so happy. I was happy. We never argued and were always together. Why did it happen? Was all I thought. This is where my love life kinda fell. I didn't want to meet anyone else. I didn't want it to happen again. I spent a year and a half alone, confined and playing video games after getting home from work till I slept and started it all over again the very next day. I didn't want to go out. Ever. But, I thought to myself one day that I doubt it will happen again. At least not like that. Next girlfriend we met was my friend. He introduced us, and we pretty much hit it off almost immediately. I don't think I was ready because I couldn't really trust her. I was almost 23, and I couldn't really blame her when she said she doesn't know about us. She had cheated on me as well, but at least I was right. It wasn't as harsh as the ex, but I still felt it. It still hurt, and just drove me back to my same old habits.